Welcome to Queen Talk Only with Wintress Patrice. My guest today is Suzette Delgado, owner of ZuZuu's Creations. Welcome to QTO. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And you?
I'm great, Queen. I'm great. I'm so happy to have you here. So, just to give our audience a little bit of backstory, I'm your life coach. I'm helping you, with your beautiful journey. We are at the 12th session, the end of our first 6-week period of breaking the chains. Uh, so we're really just reviewing some of, where we started at and how we got to here, and just making sure that we've truly broken those chains so that we can move on to the next phase, which is creating your own lanes. And I know you're ready, but let's just talk through it a little bit. Let's back up to our first session. I showed you a little footage a little bit earlier, and you were, telling me a little bit about why you had tears. So I hated to interrupt you, but you were on fire, and I didn't want to miss any of what you were saying. So if you could just start there, just let's talk about, where you started and where you are now, and just keep going.
Okay. So, I created ZuZuu's Creations to be able to be my own entrepreneur and to be able to create a business of my own that I would be able to share my love, my creativity through my products or my services. And so the journey began with a scrub, a hand body scrub. And I created this scrub to give as gifts, and it became a hot item. A lot of people enjoy the scent. They enjoy the way their hands feel. One of my friends really enjoyed it, and she was like, you should start your own business. And I ventured into a lot of different entrepreneurships in the past, but never my own, that I could call my own and really stick to it. And so I began the journey with creating these jars full of sugar, and people loved them. I started going to pop-up shops and craft fairs, and then I came to a point where I wanted to do more, but I wasn't sure exactly how to go to the next level. So here we are.
That's right. We're going to the next level. This is where it gets good. So let me ask you, in the beginning, I know that we talked a lot about your brand and how your brand really needed to be an extension of you. So we went through the process of how do we start to create that unique logo, something that is really you. It's not a staple. No one is going to go to Vistaprint or Zazzle or wherever else you can go get stuff like that done. What you have is uniquely you. And I know because I watched you create it. So let's talk about how you went from that person who was like, I want this, but now you're like, oh, I got this. Because like this whole other queen that just popped out. So where did that switch, what was that moment when you knew that, it's not as hard as I thought it was, and I really can do this. Like, this isn't just a dream, or, like, I really can do this. When did that happen?
Well, I had help, right? My coach. My coach helped me. You.
Thank you.
Just being able to help me and guide me and counsel me and show me the tricks, and being able to show me how to do it. And I was able to kind of like play with it and see that it is something that I could do myself, that it wasn't something that I was depending on someone else to do for me, but I was involved in that process and I was able to do it. And that was my struggle. Like, I didn't want a staple item. I didn't want something that came off of a sticker that someone else used.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted my own brand. I wanted something that was going to represent the things that I believe in, the things that I, you know, just just being able to portray me as a brand was what I wanted, and being able to really think about that. I really thought about that prior, but I just didn't know how to do it. And you opened up another lane for me to just be like, this is possible,
Mm-hmm.
and what to think about, because it's like you sometimes you're able to help other people, but you can't help yourself, and you're just not sure like where to go, where to start. And you were able to help me with that. You were able to help me figure out my thoughts and straighten them out. Like I was all over the place, and you were able to say, okay, step 1, this is what you do. Step 2, this is what you're going to do. Step 3, this is what you're going to do. And I was able to take that information that you gave me, and I was able to do it. And it felt so great. It felt good. It made me feel confident. It made me feel like I could do this and not depend on anyone else to do it. So that built my confidence as a queen. And this, insecure queen started with, with the hope of, doing better, doing more. And now I feel confident that I could create my brand and not have to depend on a staple.
Right. And not only do you create your brand, but you own it. Because, like I said, you created it. We talk about domains and you being the queen of your domain or your domains, as many as you may want to have, because you're a queen and you can do that. So it's something that also comes with knowing that you actually own it. Not just that you own the design, but you own it from concept to production. I know for me, whenever I see one that I like, that gives me a whole nother level of confidence. And I'm like, oh no, that's all me. Everything about that is me. And so when I look at the new logo that you created, that's what I see, and it just makes me so happy just to see it. I'm like, oh, look at her. So let's go on from the logo, because in addition to the logo, right, we were actually talking about, eventually you wanted to have a store. You wanted to be able to sell your scrubs and, be able to mail them out and things like that. You wanted to have a whole system working, right?
Yes.
So would you say you have a system now?
Yes, I have a system.
So tell me about that system.
So I started off at pop-up shops and, selling things at work, and we were going through a pandemic. But prior to that, I wanted to have my own site where people could go to, and that I'll be able to manage it. It wasn't something that I couldn't manage. And so that was my insecurity as well, that it was a website that I wouldn't be able to manage. And so you showed me that it was possible and very easy to have a website and be able to manage that, upload pictures, download pictures, put my pricing in, be able to put the shipping in, the tax in. You also showed me how to have, a shipping process, a platform where I can do my shipping right from my home. Mailman comes and picks it up, takes it on its way. So the system is working. I got 5 orders out the door.
Look at you. All right. So 6 weeks ago, we went from not wanting a staple logo that we had to thinking about having a store and not knowing how to ship the stuff out, to now here 6 weeks later, not only do we have a new logo, we have a fully functioning online store with a shipping system in place that you can manage every last detail of.
Yes.
And you're the queen. That's exactly why you're the queen, because you can do it all now, So now here we are at 6 weeks. So now we're looking at all that we know. So I know we came into this with some goals. What are we looking at for our next 6 weeks as we start to create these lanes? Because clearly we have a very strong foundation at this point. I've
Yeah.
seen the videos you put out there, especially the one with the face mask. So I know we're good there now. I'm not worried about that part anymore. So let's talk about these lanes. Where are these lanes taking us?
Well, expanding my merchandise. I have visions to expand my merchandise. I have visions to be able to have self-care packages, promotions, being able to create maybe a mail list, um,
Okay.
even
Mail
maybe
list.
creating new domains.
What? All right. I like that. I think we can make that happen. And I like the mail list too. Mm-hmm. Okay. I see some lanes popping up. All right. So we can definitely make that happen. So now that we have all of that done, if we were to go back and look at your 1 year plan again, now that we know what we have, we talked about some things that we want to do, of course, just now, about the lanes that we want to create in our next 6 week period. But let's look a little bit further out. And just so you can be ready for it, once I hit you with the 1 year, I'm going to come with your 5 years. So you might as well start getting that ready in your brain. But why don't you tell us, with what you've learned just in these 6 weeks and what you've always wanted to do? Because, part of what I try to always bring out is that we have to balance our daily life with our digital life, making sure that we have proper time for ourselves, to give ourselves self-love,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that we are having good queen talks with ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
but then also making sure that we're spending that quality time with our families as well.
Yes.
And so, it can be a little bit difficult as we've seen over the last 6 weeks. Sometimes it can get a little bit overwhelming trying to balance everything. But as you see now, it is possible to balance them all. So when we're looking at all of that from a more balanced perspective, what does your 1 year plan now look like?
Well, um, oh, I can say first. I would like to say breaking chains was really breaking chains. Um, were there. I went into this with a full commitment to do what was necessary to get the job done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was parts where I felt very overwhelmed and I was putting a lot of pressure on me. And as my coach, I was able to reach out to you and I was able to say, I'm overwhelmed. I'm not sure where to go. I know there's all these things that I need to get done, but I'm not sure where to do. And you gave me that queen talk. You told me that I am the queen of my domain. And if I want to take a day of rest, then take a day of rest. If
That's
I
right.
want to not do social media, don't do unplug and recharge. Do something else that I love doing and then come back and reconnect. And it's okay to take a day off. And just by being able to reach out to you and just tell you how I really felt, being just transparent, you were able to help me and coach me through my emotional distress. And I was able to take the time to really see that I could do this business, have a full-time job, be with my family, all the things that I do want to do. So the next year, I'll be able to balance. I want to be able to more balance it better. You know, um, I want to be able to have like a more strict agenda to my calendar. Days. There'll be days where I could just take photos, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be days where that'll be a day I can just focus on editing videos and creating
Mm-hmm.
videos. Maybe there's just a day that I do shipping. I just focus on shipping, or maybe there's just a day that I focus on, printing my branding stuff and having that organized. And as these days have passed, I mean, I have evolved and I change things as you show me things, and I start playing with things. I say, well, that looks
Mm-hmm.
good, but I want it to look better. And so I'm able
Right.
to tweak things, and I'm able to improve on things or change things. It's okay to change it. I mean, I think I've already changed my logo a couple times, just because I'm the queen. I can do
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Because you can do it. And also because, like I said in the beginning, your brand, your logo is an extension of you. You're constantly changing and growing. So your logo and your brand should do the same thing. Sometimes people get stuck in the same thing because they don't have the ability to, well, they have the ability, they just don't know they have the ability to do it. But they just don't have what you have right now. And so now you have that ability to switch it up whenever you want to. Like I told you coming in this, if you want to switch it up with holiday colors now, you know exactly how to do that. If you have a special event that you're going to do, you can switch it up however you see fit, and it will be a representation of you. So it should always keep changing, and you should, every time you change something, you should actually start to like get energized, because you know that that's showing you your growth. You saw another area where you can improve. That's growth. That's amazing. So yeah, get excited when you want to change stuff, not just because you can, but because you see an area and an opportunity to do it. Because you may not have recognized that previously, because you didn't know that you had the ability to do it. So that's good. So I can definitely see, your 1 year coming. Like, I don't see you having any problems accomplishing your 1 year. So let's talk about what your 5 year looks like. You mentioned other domains, so I'm assuming that we're going to just be the queen of a whole bunch of domains here. So
Yes, I am thinking about a new domain, a new brand created from the ground zero, and I'm excited.
Okay.
Some thoughts in mind already, and some branding already in mind. So I am excited, and I can't wait to launch it.
Wow. Well, I'm your coach, so I will be right here with you whenever you get ready, cheering you on, making sure that you are ready. But like I told you in the beginning, whether you realize it or not, you've already been doing so much work on your own. All you needed was a little bit of help in trying to organize what you were already doing, and then learning how to balance it. And I will still say the main thing, and if you really, really work on your queen talk, your inner queen talk, every day, are you getting in the mirror telling yourself how amazing you are? Are you?
Well, we know my queen talk needs some work, but
All right, that's all right. Because, look, my bags came in today, so you'll be getting your little... your first set of Queen Talk only cards. You will be getting them within the week. But still, even if if the only thing you can do is look in the mirror every day and tell yourself that you love you exactly as you are, that's a perfect start.
yes, I have been able to, through this journey with you, I have been able to recognize that I am the queen of my domain. And when I say something moves, it moves, right?
That's right.
And when I don't want to do something, I don't have to do something. And I don't have to worry about what other people say, what other people think. I gotta do what feels good. I gotta do what is burning inside. Like, if I, I just feel like, like you said, I just feel like changing something on my logo or putting something on my website. I am in control, and I struggle with that self-confidence, but I am working on it, and I think that
you're getting there. You're getting good. Let me tell you, you're getting good.
From our first session to where we are now, I mean, I am much more confident. I wasn't able to make a video of myself, but you helped me and coached me through, how to edit my videos and how to just, I was stressing over just stop and go. You was like, just go, just
go.
We can edit that. And I was just like, really? And when we sat down and we did that session, I was like, oh!
Uh-huh.
So that's
exactly.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. Like I'm super super excited, and not only have you gotten to this point where now we're talking about multiple domains and building from a whole new, because we came into this just working on ZuZuu's creations. Now we're building a whole new brand from the ground up. Not only have you done all of that, but now I remember one point I was talking to you about a podcast. You didn't know how you would be on one or what you would say or how that would work or anything. And here we are. We're about to wrap on this episode of Queen Talk Only with Wintress Patrice. You have been an amazing guest. I really, really want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of your beautiful journey. I've seen so much growth in you. Like it really, I keep telling you, like when I get to see you smile at the end of our sessions, it makes me feel amazing. But right now, here today in this moment, just looking at you, I can really, really see that you're starting to connect with your queen, your inner queen. And even though your talk isn't there yet, like I said, your cards are coming, so we're going to get you there. But the confidence that I'm starting to see in you, the way it's growing, is so beautiful. It is so amazing. And I just want to continue as your coach to try and match your energy. See, that's one of the things that I tell people all the time. I'm like, I'm the coach that will match your energy. If you come at me at 120, I'm going to come back at you at 120. If you just give me 100%, I'm going to give you 100%. But whatever you want to get out of this, if you give it to me, I'm going to give it back. You, every time I give you something, you take it and you multiply it and you make it so much more. So you're going 120, which pushes me to go 120 with you. So I want to really thank you for all of your energy, your effort, and your amazing creativity, because you have to be one of the most creative people I've ever met. And we have not even scratched the surface, and I know it. So I'm truly looking forward to what our next 6 weeks of creating lanes brings. I'm excited to see what happens when we get to the part where in our last 6 weeks where we're enjoying the journey. And even more than that, I'm excited to see the success that the next year and 5 years beyond brings to you. So if there's anything that you wanted to ask me, because at the end of all of my episodes, if you've listened to any of my podcasts, I always say that I truly believe turnabout is fair play. So I give you an opportunity now to ask me one question. You don't have to.
Well, what would you say is your biggest challenge you have overcome
In my life?
Mm-hmm.
Not loving myself. The biggest challenge that I've had to and I've had to overcome a lot in my life. I grew up and I've had a lot of physical abuse, mental, emotional, just a lot of abuse in my life. But more than any of that, the hardest and the worst thing was me not loving myself. And the day that I started loving myself, I can truly say that the world began to change. The things that I used to think could never happen to me began to happen. The things that I thought were only like fantasies that I could just keep, in my head and I would never tell anybody because I would have to hear negative feedback or, nobody would buy into what I was saying. Once I started to love myself, none of that mattered anymore. I didn't care what anyone else had to say, I just knew that this is what I felt. And I started to trust that voice inside of me because that voice was encouraging me. It wasn't beating me down anymore. When I didn't love myself, that voice inside was constantly just knocking me down, just tearing me down, saying the worst. That voice was saying things worse to me than what anybody could have ever said to me on a constant basis. But once I started loving myself, that voice started to get softer and it started telling me encouraging things like, go for it. You the queen, let's go. If that's what you want, then you need to create it. If it doesn't exist yet and that's what you want, then you need to create it. And you can do it because you love yourself and you believe in your vision. You believe in what it is that you're doing. I've been able to do in the last 12 months most of the things that I said as a child that I wanted to do, that I always kept myself, like I always had a reason that somebody else was keeping me from doing things. And once I started loving myself and I was like, I don't care about that or whatever, then those things just started sort of coming to me like I was a magnet for my dreams. And all I had to do was be like, oh, okay. And I told you, if the door opens up, I started walking through the door like, I know this door opened up, especially for me. Here I am. And if they just crack the door, I'm going to kick that door open. I'm going to make sure that they know you should have opened the door when I got here because this is all me. I am the queen. But that comes with self-love. So, to answer your question, my biggest obstacle in life has been my struggle with self-love. But as you can see, that is no longer an issue.
Thank you for sharing that. And I just want to say that you are a blessing. You are such a blessing. You don't understand, how you put an imprint in my heart. And I just continue to hope that after our sessions are done, we can continue to keep our friendship growing. And I look forward to even doing business with you as a business partner. And I know that together we can be queens helping one another.
I see them all coming. We will definitely work together. Yes, I believe that our creativity actually, that we feed off of each other. And that's why we can go 120 because, everybody can't do that. But you see, every time, even if we just have a lunch session that's supposed to be a mini session with us, we're still both going 120 and we're both learning and growing as we're doing it. So I definitely, after our sessions are over, still want to work with you. I see us definitely growing. You know what our plans are. So we got this, queen. All right. I want to thank my guest, Suzette Delgado, owner of ZuZuu's Creations. Make sure you stop by her online store and check out some of what she has to offer. Her sugar scrubs are amazing. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. The link can be found in the description of this episode. Other than that, I want to really take a moment to give everyone an update on not only QTO and the changes that we have coming, since this is our season finale for season 1. Season 2 is going to be totally different, a whole different experience from what we've had in the past. We'll have more live guests. We have a different format. As you can see, we have a different logo. But also for IAWP Life Coaching as a whole, this whole pandemic, and I want to take a minute to say this dual pandemic, because we're not just talking about what's going on with COVID and how it's affecting our communities and us individually, but also the pandemic of racism and how we're having to change our daily lives. Our new normal is now something that we're learning on the fly. So I don't want anyone to think that, as a life coach, I have it all together and I'm not affected by any of this stuff, because I definitely have been affected by it. Going into this, I had a really dynamic year, opening up multiple offices in major cities, and really having the opportunity to travel and coach and get to know people. Unfortunately, due to this COVID situation, this COVID pandemic, we've had to close our offices. And so now our new normal has totally shifted from a one-on-one, face-to-face daily business to a digital daily business. So I've had to close my offices in the physical sense, which meant, moving stuff. I've had to close it in the sense that now I've had to change addresses and phone numbers and, just everything that goes along with the move. And it was really on the fly, less than 30 days. So, yeah, it's definitely been a challenge, but as with anything in my life, I will always say that I am up for that challenge. I am ready for whatever this new normal has to bring. And I look forward to connecting with new clients to help them conquer what I've just done, which is to go from a brick and mortar physical business to a fully functioning digital business. It's not easy. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of logistics that go into play. So if you are an individual who's listening to this, or you know someone who their daily business has now been affected and they have to change into a digital business environment, please make sure that you put them in contact with myself or a life coach who does something similar to myself, where we can not only help you with the daily balancing of your life, but also help you to get technically balanced where you need to be to operate in a completely digital business environment. So, again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And as always, remember, I am Wintress Patrice, your certified life coach and social media influencer, here for your daily and digital journey. Show and prove. Let's get it.